Hey everyone, and добро пожаловать! My name's Dyer Ajura, and this is Siberian Gaming Review. So, not so long ago, Agent Baba Yaga... No, not you, Keanu. The real Baba Yaga. Never mind. So, Baba Yaga knocked on my door and asked me to do a review of this game she's starring in, called Don't Knock Twice. For the motherland, of course. So here we are. Little disclaimer, I played the regular PC version, not the VR, so my review is from the PC point of view. And yeah, I also saw the movie, but let's have the game represent the story by itself. Let me start from the story, with no major spoilers. It starts in the most cliché way possible, in a closed room where you wake up as Jessica, the owner of the house. There you find some initial information, a candle, and a cell phone that you'll get a valuable information from every time something crucial happens. It continues to what I call opening doors simulator, while you learn more and more. So what are you doing in this house? Well, living there, together with your daughter Chloe, and she messed up with our favorite witch Baba Yaga. Well, I wish it was this one, but we got this creepy version instead. Sorry, Comrade Yaga. We try to save our daughter by collecting some stuff we need for a ritual. We do the ritual and, well, no spoilers. The whole playthrough takes between 30 minutes and maybe 2 hours if you really try to research the house and stuck in some places. That's it. It's a short game with nothing too much complicated. Again, from the PC point of view. But even a story like this can be really fun to play and successfully scare the heck out of you. But I personally felt that the story wasn't fully delivered. Yeah, the pages you find give you a decent understanding of what is going on. The flashbacks, or whatever that was, are also pretty helpful. But it feels like it's just for the check mark, and the devs barely try to tell the story. Later on, I will give my idea of how that could have been made better. Now let's talk about the real thing we all want from a horror game. Getting scared. I have to say that the initial atmosphere is pretty good, and the game builds up well until your first face-to-face encounter with Yaga. If you don't expect this meeting, it actually might get you pretty hard. But here's the main issue. After jumping on you, she just disappears. I understand they didn't want to do a regular escape and hide gameplay, but instead all we get is cheap jump scares. In the first playthrough, some of them might get you, but if you choose to play again for that sweet 100% achievements completion, you'll notice how truly disappointing this is. Once you're expecting it, the game is not scary anymore. Well, every horror game that you completed won't be as scary if you play it again, but all you get here is boo effect. The game doesn't really give you a reason to be afraid of Yaga. She'll just jump on you and will leave you alone after a short time. Now the gameplay. Now here I'll explain how, in my opinion, it could have been better. But first thing first, how is the gameplay different from any generic horror game? Well, the game gives you an axe and a flamethrower. Oh, sorry, a spray that you can use together with a candle to make fire, like a flamethrower. Can you use it to defend yourself against Yaga, or at least get rid of her eyebrows? No. You use the axe to break some door locks, and the spray to clear your path from some random stuff in your way. And the game is so nice to provide you with what you need every time you actually need it. So, I found free access overall, I think. What kind of psycho needs free access in his house? One of them was on a freaking bed. I think Yaga is the one that was supposed to be afraid here. Either way, you don't even have to carry an axe. You'll get a new one when you need it. And here's the problem, the game actually already has something that could have been used differently to make the game way better. Remember I said the game is short? Once you finish it, you're left with "that's it" kind of feeling? But what if Baba Yaga could actually kill you, and you'd have to start from the beginning? And of course, you'd have to use your tools to actually defend yourself. Imagine how badass it is to actually fight against her with an axe or use the spray to buy yourself a couple of seconds to run away? And in VR, that would have been even better. I'd play that. In this case, the game's length would be a big advantage. It would be way more frustrating to play a 4 or 5 hours game that could kill you any moment and make you go through everything from the start once more. Oh, I forgot to say, the game has no save feature. Well, if you decide to leave mid-game, you still can continue more or less from the same spot, but you can't actively save your game. Well, the game would become an actual survival horror with an interesting concept and not a boo in your face and ears horror. Now to my second idea. one of the things you do is collecting Matryoshka dolls. Besides giving you achievements, they are practically useless. But what if every time you found one, you would actually see a flashback to something crucial to better understand Chloe and Jess and their relationship? After all, relating to the characters is much better than not care at all because you developed zero interest, and it could actually give us an exposition of Baba Yaga. First of all, how the hell did she even get to Wells? I mean, she can fly on her own without relying on Aeroflot, but why is she there? Slavic kids are not her thing anymore? Is she afraid to accidentally kidnap Vanya the Gopnik and get her buttocks kicked by his Gopnik friends? The game doesn't explain why it has to be Baba Yaga and not some random local wicked witch. I mean, there has to be a point to use a well-known character in a completely different location. You can't do it without explaining why. I mean, I can guess how she got there from what the game tells about her, but actually giving more exposition would be much better. And please, show that she's a witch! And she's dangerous, and not some old hag that just wants to cuddle. It would make her a real, threatening antagonist and not some "Boo, now you're afraid, hehe. And now I'm going to do some shopping on Witch Bay, but I'll return to scare you again when you rush point B." Better story, more relatable characters, better antagonist equals a better game. And this would actually give you a reason to search for those Matryoshka dolls. Well, let's pretend they are in the game not because they related to Russia and the devs wanted to put something else for the achievements. Let's pretend somehow the memories were put in Matryoshka dolls. And now you can see them when you drop the Matryoshka dolls on the ground. Who's wrong? Me? No. Either way, I think it could have been a good addition to the game and it would add 5 to 10 minutes at least, which isn't bad either. So, how would I rate this game? Is it a good game? No, not really, but I wouldn't call it bad either. Disappointing. Yes, that is a better way to describe it. The game had potential and it failed to fulfill it. I'm sure the gamers that played more horror games than I did could give some nice ideas on how to make it more enjoyable for them. Should you buy it? You can, but I'd say it's overpriced for its worth. I mean, I played 3 games that had more content. Overall, it's not bad for one time, if you're really bored or new to horror games and want to try something basic. And a nice bonus, it's easy to get all the achievements for that sweet, perfect game list on Steam. Well, one of them shouldn't be there in my opinion, but I won't elaborate on that. It will take too much time and probably you'll hear some angry Russian swearing too. So I hope you found this review helpful. Those who play the game, feel free to comment whether or not you agree with me. Take care and have a nice day. I'm Dire Ajura and I'm out to play some other games.